Hello and welcome to Toffees Victoria Show. We don't have the usual crew here, but we got Chris and we've got our good mate Ty, who's subbed in off from the bench. How are you going, Ty?
I am doing just fine. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. How are you, Chris?
Very good. A little sore from Toffees Victoria futsal team last night, but happy to be here.
Fantastic.
When you see four center backs line up in a back four, it's never something that instills too much confidence. But credit to them. I mean, they played their hearts out. They're flying up and down the sidelines. Godfrey and Holgate. I mean, they looked like they were naturals out there. So yeah, I mean, the rest of it. Siggy, you guys know I'm more of a Siggy fan than the rest. So I wasn't too sad to see him in the lineup. But yeah, I mean, look, everybody played up to the competition. I was talking to a couple of the guys at the meetup over the weekend that Everton, for whatever reason, when we have our backs up against the wall, we tend to play up to competition, not down. So that's what the boys did, and yeah, it was refreshing. It was a breath of fresh air for sure.
Very good. Chris, what are your thoughts on the lineup?
We've obviously talked a little bit on this show the last couple of weeks about 3 at the back, 4 at the back, what we think. So seeing 4 at the back, okay, yes, they were all 4 centre backs, but seeing 4 there was quite good. You know, I echo what Ty said. You know, Holgate and Godfrey both they weren't out of place too much. There was a few times where they got caught out a little bit, but nothing too bad. You know, and to be honest, to Godfrey's credit, we brought him in as a centre back. He played obviously as right back, but he was quality. He had a really good game and was really happy. Especially in his younger days, so I wasn't too surprised at that. But Sigurdsson coming in as well, I was a bit sceptical myself. He's had a few issues, but he played really well. You know, he was somewhere closer to what we know he can do for us. So that was really, really good. Well, the team that was park, I was more than happy and thought, you know, we're a chance in this. So yeah, really happy with it.
Yeah, no, I also was a bit hesitant when I saw Sigurdsson in the midfield. I thought, oh, surely Gomez would start. But you know, he selected his team and yeah, let's just talk about the game. Yeah, Sigurdsson was incredible. Actually, I think everyone just played, you know, everyone did their job. Especially in that first half, like the pressure we put on them. Okay, we gave them a fair bit of the ball, probably more in the second half. But you know, we had our chances. And we just defended really, really well. Godfrey was immense. Like, oh my God, he did really well. And like in a position that he, you know, wouldn't usually play. But yeah, no, he was outstanding. Yeah, and then, you know, us getting the penalty through Dom just not giving up on the ball and the keeper just, you know, basically taking him out. Was he even carded for that? I don't think he was. I thought it was just a penalty.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, no. Because usually, you know, when keepers just run out like that and foul a player, usually they get some kind of caution.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
I mean,
odd.
it was early in the game. It was a very clumsy challenge, but it wasn't, you know, outrageous or anything like that. So
Yeah.
either way, I mean, it's very rare for a keeper to get a second yellow anyway, so it didn't really bother me. But it just goes to show you with that play and the second penalty that DCL won,
Yeah.
how much of a contributor he is, even when he's not putting the ball in the back of the net, which he has done, 14 times so far. He's Golden Boot front runner right now. So, I mean, he wins us the penalty the first time. The second one, he wins a penalty, and it gets called back for offsides when he's, you know, maybe 6 inches off. So, yeah, I mean, it's refreshing. I'm glad to see him come into his own up top and be a real menace to the opposing defenders and goalkeepers for sure.
Definitely. He kind of reminds me of like he's a bit of a Viduka, isn't he, Chris? Like just for an Australian side, he's that guy who holds it up, passes it off, and then gets in position or holds it up and passes it to like one of the wingers or Richie and then moves on. Like he just, yeah, that's just, I don't know, just, getting the height, not giving up on the ball because it was bouncing away from him. And then, he gets us a penalty.
He's always had a really high work rate for us, and he's always worked, chased, ran, put pressure on, and he just never got any reward for that. Obviously he started the year and he's starting to get the goals. He's getting nearly every tap-in chance he's had, he's scored, and now he's getting these penalties and things, another string to his bow. The only thing he's really missing is, a shot from distance or, a shot outside the box or something like that. But eventually that's going to come. His confidence is sky high, as high as it can be. I think he's banged in 11 in the league, and a couple others in the cup. So he's not only has he cemented his spot as one of the best strikers in the Prem. He's going to be in and around that England team. He's going to be hanging and playing with players like.
Definitely.
Long run. So, the DCL that we never thought was there has come out, and he's repaying the faith of not only of Duncan Ferguson, but, the managers before him that give him a little bit and helped him out. So, I'm chuffed for him because he's a vital competitor for us now. He's probably the first name picked every game now, which
for sure. Yeah. Mm.
We wouldn't have said that. We wouldn't, to be honest, we all thought we were going to buy another striker in the off season, and he wasn't really going to be a factor. And how wrong were we all? And not only is he the only one, he's taken it on board and he's ran with it. And week by week by week, he just seems to be getting better and better and better and just adding more and more. So really pleased. And he had another good game. Again, I don't think so. Really, really happy for him, and let's just hope he can keep banging them in and continue to be getting better and better like he has been.
Definitely. Yeah, he was just incredible. But just, just like I was saying, everyone else, Ty Sigurdsson, your man, like he did so well. He created 6 chances. Like I think every chance we had, he created 6 of them, which was the highest of the whole game. Like.
Yeah, I mean it's the role we know he can play, but for whatever reason he just hasn't. I mean, you can tell even though it was a 4-4-2, he was playing like a quasi number 10 role, which is I think that's what we brought him in for. I mean, he hasn't really been employed that way, but I think that's his most comfortable position. The ball was coming out of the back 4 or from Pickford going to Siggy, and he was offloading it to the forwards. And you could tell it was just it looked comfortable for him. It looked natural, and he was putting in a great performance. And the penalty, I mean, it's confident strike. It's not much else you can say about that. It looked like calm, cool, and collected there.
He did the old looking this way but shooting that way type of thing.
Yeah. And look, I mean, he had the confidence to. Granted, he had the armband, but he had the confidence to when Richie wanted that pen.
Yeah.
Said, no, listen, like I'm a leader on this team. I'm the penalty taker. That's why I'm here. I'm a set piece specialist. I'm going to take it. Yeah. And that was the end of it. I mean, we haven't heard anything about it since.
But yeah, he tried to do it twice, didn't he? Even for the one that was disallowed, he ran over straight away. And Alan had to go in. If you've seen the footage, Alan had to run in and like grab him out of there because he basically almost headbutted Sigurdsson over it.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's I don't want to say struggling this year, but he's not scoring like we know he can. Not to say he's not contributing, but I mean, I get why he wants it, but he's got to know where his place is.
It's actually really funny. The footage that everyone's seen of Richarlison obviously being pulled away, both times he went to get it. He's a forward. He wants a goal. That's his job. He's taken a penalty for us now. He wants it. As soon as he was told no, he went back, went to his position. If you actually watch the footage of the goal and run straight to him like nothing had happened.
Yeah.
He didn't continue to sulk. He He wanted it. He wanted to take it. He wanted to score a goal. He wanted to get on the score sheet. That's his job. He likes doing that. He got told no. Okay, he just copped it on the chin, went back behind the line. As soon as the goal went in, he ran over and celebrated with Siggy and the rest of the team straight away like it hadn't even happened. So, I know there's some pundits out there that are trying to, Richarlison, and, some fans are like, I didn't like to see that. Well, maybe watch after it and see the way he reacted to it. He's a young lad. He wants to score. He didn't get the chance to take it, but he copped it on the chin and he ran on with the game and continued like it hadn't even happened.
Yeah.
Like we know that he does. So I'm annoyed that a few people have tried to make a little bit more out of that than not, because what happens is people start throwing that stuff out on social media that he's greedy and all this. PSG come in and offer 100 mil. He goes, you know what? The fans all call me greedy. Why would I want to stay here? It just puts things out there that don't deserve to be put out there. So, I think we've gone over that for no, because nothing was. Also have another little gripe on the match, and that was a few people were still having a crack at Pickford. The reason we won that game was because of Pickford. He made some world-class, that save of Reece James to just get a finger to it.
That bullet.
Into the post.
Yeah.
That's any other keeper, that's in every day of the week. And all we had. And people still, Pickford, his attitude and all that, but he showed why he's world-class, world-class shot stopper. And he showed it. And, I keep seeing on social media fans want to have a crack at him. I think, as Everton fans, we expect a lot, but the moment someone gives us not a lot, we're straight on their back, but we're not. When good game, he had a really, that's only our second clean sheet of the season, and it was all down to him.
Yeah.
They could easily have scored. Yes, the rest of the team set up in front of him really, really well, and everyone defended as a whole, but they let that shot through. He doesn't save it. We draw 1-1, but he did save it, and it was world class. So, I think our fans, it's annoying seeing it every week in social media. We like to have whipping boys when we don't really need whipping boys. Not every week. There's a time and a place for it. People still rip him, but I don't think it was merited on the weekend. But
yeah, he still had his moments though, like that lob. He's always going to have that. Coming off the line a bit early. When he slipped with that back pass, like, oh.
No, he's not going to be 100% every single week, but he needs to save the ones that he needs to save, and he did. And the one where obviously he came out, he went the punch, and then they tried to lob, but he was fine. The defense were there to back him up, so he probably would have called that he's going for it. The defense listened and gone, okay, well, I need to get back to the line. They get back to the strong enough to say, I'm going for this. He obviously didn't do too well with that, but he at least had to go. We'd much rather that than he stay half in between going for it and not, and then they score a goal anyway. So it's being a keeper it's the hardest position on the pitch, and unwarranted negativity towards him this week is what I'm getting at. But everyone in front of him made his job a whole lot easier. But that one chance, that he needed to save, he did. So kudos to him, and second clean sheet in the coming games.
Ty, who was your man of the match?
Man of the match, I think you probably would have to give it to Godfrey. I mean, not just because he had a phenomenal game, but because he's playing out of position. I mean, did he look like, what was he playing, left or right? I can't even remember.
I think he was playing left back.
Wherever he was. I mean, he didn't look like he was a left back, but he didn't look like he wasn't either. I mean, he looked comfortable enough, considering he's not only new to the team, but it's also a new position for him. He's more naturally a center back. So I mean, he was flying up and down.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm just looking at his stats, and out of 5 aerial duels he had, he won 2 of them. He's His accuracy was at 78%. And he was in the forward zone 83% of the time. So he was there doing Dinier's type job of moving the ball
Yeah.
forward.
I mean, that speaks for itself in that
Mm.
he's up in the forward third that much of the time, and we still kept a clean sheet. I mean, that just tells you he's able to get back quickly. He's able to cover his spots. So, I mean, who knows? It's definitely something that I thought was a good option for him. He'll probably still remain a center back, I would imagine, but it's good to know that he can sort of plug and play if we need him places.
Definitely. And Chris, who would be yours?
I echo Ty. I think Godfrey showed probably what we paid in performance. You know, he down the line all day. Considering we didn't really have a lot of possession for him to be sitting behind. He defended really, really strong, put in some really, really good challenges. In the air, he is elite. You know, in the air, he's
very good.
phenomenal, which is really, really good. So, and he's got some pace for a tall lad. So, credit to him. We know he's a centre back. He has played right, but he was more than serviceable there. So I gave it to him. But I think everybody, the team as a whole, just worked much better in that formation that we had with the four at the back. So it was hard to pick a bad player for the game, but Godfrey was probably the best in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with both of you guys. I thought Godfrey was definitely man of the match. He just did his job, set up plays, moved the ball, defended really well, and just brought that confidence that we really needed back in defense, especially after the Burnley game. Okay, so let's move on to some transfer news. So we're getting some rumors, probably the last few days recently, that Dele Alli could be an option for us. Chris, what do you think about that? Could he work at Everton?
Well, I've seen a few fans drop on a couple of the Twitter pages and the Facebook pages. He'd be great. Where's he going to play? He's not a winger, so he's not going to take Richarlison's spot. He's not going to play on the right. That's Hammers' spot when he's fit. He's more of a number 10. And to be honest, would it be worth getting him in when we've got Sigurdsson, Gomez, and we are linked with players that are probably better caliber and better suited to Everton, being Isco and Semi from Juventus is being linked. I think Dele Alli would just not work at Everton. He's still a young player, but I just don't think at Everton he would work. I think he probably fits in to a team probably like an Aston Villa or even someone like a Leeds. Sort of a little bit below our quality is probably where he's better because he's the star. He can be that star. And, I just don't think would be willing to play second or third fiddle at Everton and work to get his way in the team. When he first burst onto the scene with England, when he was playing really, really well and he was guaranteed in that team, he was amazing. Yeah. There was months on end where he was one of the best players in the world, and then other players then started to pop up around him and he then just fell right off. I think he's a massive front runner. He's a very, very good player, but I just don't think he fits at Everton. So, I know we're linked with him. We're linked with Harry Winks as well as a possible option for right back and that can drop into the midfield. I don't think we'll go there either. I think if we spend in January, it's going to be a long-term buy. Otherwise, it'll be someone like an Isco or a Khedira who Ancelotti already knows how they play, can drop them straight into his team. They know how he works. They've even played with, James and players like that. So that would be sort of where I see us going in January. Ty, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't really have any sort of interest in signing Dele Alli. He's that type of signing that we've seen in the past, maybe not necessarily to his caliber, but the people that are on a bigger team who, have a history of being good players, however, have for whatever reason fallen out of favor. So to me, that kind of a signing, number one, we don't need it. Like you said, Chris, like where is he going to play? It's kind of superfluous to our needs. That's the first thing. It's like, why buy him? The second thing is he has the potential, if it doesn't work out, that he can be one of those massive wage earners that is just sitting on our bench that we can't offload because he's got such a huge contract. So I think the downside is way very much outweighs the upside of a signing like that. And like Chris said, I mean, some of those players you mentioned, I would much rather have. The other thing from the money side of it is, and granted they said it was because of coronavirus, but Everton did just announce like their biggest losses in the history of the club, like by a very wide margin. So we've done a lot of spending lately. I mean, you think about Iwobi was very expensive. The 3 signings, James was on a free supposedly. I don't think that's ever been confirmed, but we've spent a lot of money. So Godfrey wasn't cheap either. So if we're going to keep announcing losses and keep having these big name signings, then eventually the chickens are going to come home to roost. And I know, there's talks of Mashiri money and all that stuff, but there is still financial fair play. And, you have to, the team is a business. You can't just spend without any regard for the long term. So I don't see any point to it, honestly.
Do you think that we'll definitely need to see some players leave, like Balassi and Tolson?
Who's going to take them? I mean, yeah, I'd love to see them go.
But yeah, you're right. Who's going to take them?
It's like, and I mean, Carlo, I would love for Carlo to get a few transfer windows in, not just to get the players out, but to get his guys in. But they've got to be his guys. I mean, Dele Alli, I saw that, Carlo gave him praise when he was a younger player, but he's never managed him. So if we're going to spend money, I'd rather him bring in players that he knows, that he, knows their styles and he knows they'll fit into our system.
Yeah, no, I agree with you both. I just don't see how he would fit in our team, Dele Alli. And like seeing his attitude in the documentary of the Spurs one on Amazon, I just was off put him. Like I just was like, I wouldn't want that type of guy at our club. Just joking around, saying some dumb stuff. Like there was this thing about toast or something. Like he didn't know how like you could put more than 2 toasts in at the same time or something. I don't know, something ridiculous.
If he wasn't a footballer, he'd push trolleys.
Yeah, exactly. He would be pushing trolleys or working at a supermarket for sure. But yeah, all the other like Isco, I just don't think it's a player we need. Kadiri's an interesting one. But I know, like you said, we need long-term signings. We don't want signings that we've had for the last 4 or 5 seasons, like your Tolsons, your Balassis, and they just don't last long because they get knocked out of the team. Like the Lookmans, like you have potential, and then it's like, oh well, can't really fit them in the squad because every manager we had was different. Yeah. Any other thoughts on that? On any other transfers you guys have heard?
I think we'll do what we did last season and loan a few players out. There's very, very strong rumours that so Wayne Rooney's taken over as player manager at Derby and they're in relegation trouble. So I wouldn't be surprised if Branthwaite, John Joe Kenny, and Gordon are all offered to Derby on loan.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Because he's going to need players. He's going to need to bring players in. Derby can't afford to pay anybody. So they're going to need loan deals. That would be ideal for us to send 2 or even all 3 of them potentially to us in the championship to give them a run. They're going to get 20-odd games towards the end of the year. Let's actually see what they can do and whether they have potential at Everton. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a few loan deals like that. Potentially even loaning Tosin out again. He went to Crystal Palace on loan at the same time last year. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody lower in the league came in for him. But an interesting one that I've said a few times to to everyone is I wouldn't be surprised if we sell Delph in January.
Yeah, he was one I would want to get rid of.
I think a team like Burnley or even Sheffield or, the teams at the bottom, West Brom, that are struggling to get a foothold into the Prem and to get anything going. Delph is a very, very good player to fit into that sort of team because he can play in multiple roles and he's seen as a leader. Obviously at Everton, he's not been that, but he has currency for those sort of teams, especially in a relegation battle. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Delph is potentially sold to one of those teams who come in with a small little offer, a couple of mil, see you later, take him. And then if they do get relegated, he with them next year, which is probably where he's at now. He's definitely in the twilight of his career. So hopefully he goes. He's definitely not one of my players I can see playing for us, and I wouldn't pick him ever again. So I'd like to sell him. Could just be wishful thinking.
Speaking of Branthwaite, did you guys see the footage of the West Ham game in the under-23s? That tackle he laid to stop the goal?
I didn't see it.
Oh, great. Like the West Ham player skipped the keeper, and just as the guy went to kick the ball, Branthwaite slide tackled and it took the ball and bounced away. Yeah, really impressive.
I like him as a player. He has done nothing but play really, really well, especially given his age. So I think there's a bright future for that kid.
Yeah, same here. All right, let's move on to the Leicester preview. So it's on, where are we?
Thursday morning.
So yeah, Thursday morning at 5 a.m. at the King Power Stadium. Leicester's at $2.10 and we're at $3.20 and the draw's at $3.50. This could go either way. I'm thinking we might just get a draw because they're on a bit of a roll. Ty, what are your thoughts?
Yeah,
and also, who do you think we need to look out for?
It's one of those where I don't expect to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did win.
Okay.
Leicester are a team that's just, I mean, their records over the past few years it speaks for itself. I mean, they have consistently done good business in the transfer windows. They have bought players low, sold them high. They've been, up and above the top half of the table for a little while now. So, and especially now that they're getting into form, I mean, Maddison is always a player to watch out for. He hasn't had quite the year that we know he can, but he's starting to get into form now. When him and Vardy get rolling, then there's not a whole lot any teams can do to stop it. So it's definitely going to be a tough one for sure. It's away, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely going to be a tough one. It's one of those where if we lose, I'm not going to be surprised. If we draw, I'm not going to be surprised. And if we win, I'm not going to be surprised. So hopefully we get some points out of it. But it's not the end of the world if we don't go into there and take points.
Yeah, for me, we just have to keep an eye on Maddison and Vardy. I heard an interesting stat that if the times we've kept Vardy quiet and he doesn't score, we either draw or win. So let's keep that up. Just put Mina and Keane on him, or Godfrey and Holgate, and just bully him. And
that's what I was going to say about Mina, actually, was, I mean, he had Olivier Giroud in his pocket.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, my God. Yeah, we should have mentioned that.
That was the kind of matchup. So, I honestly, I feel like, Vardy's got maybe a little bit more pace. They're not quite the same player. But I feel like Vardy is the kind of player that Yerry Mina is suited to shut down.
Okay.
Whether we keep the same formation, we'll see. But I think that actually would be a favorable matchup for us.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so with that record, I'm hoping we keep Vardy quiet, though he is my captain this week in my fantasy, so either or. What about you, Chris?
It's going to be an interesting game. Leicester are that team that we probably are all a bit jealous of, to be honest. They, like Ty said, they buy low, they sell high.
Yeah.
They found these gems like Conte and Mahrez, players like that have just, they won them the Premier League. They did something that we can only dream of, and they did it it on a shoestring budget, and now since then they've barely looked back. They're always top six. They've been Champions League just outside. They're still in the Europa League. Even when they sacked Ranieri, they ended up getting Brendan Rodgers, and I know he's from Liverpool, but he's a very, very good manager, and he's a good player manager, and he's made that team work, and they've brought in extra, other players. So game, I actually watched their game the other day. I'm a big fan of Madison, and he's had his injury troubles this year, but he's now, like Ty said, he's coming back into form, and he scored, a cracking goal where he had no right to score. He beat Vardy laid it off to him. He did 2 step overs, went to go to his right, flanked back onto his left, and put it into the top left corner. It was just phenomenal. He had no right to score there, and they gave him way too much space. So he's a very, very good player that actually overtook Dele Alli a couple of seasons back, and that's why Dele Alli's not getting a gig for England. But I'm thinking this is going to be one of those games where we probably rest a couple of players and change it up a little bit. I'm not too sure whether James will be back. There may be a few other changes because we got games coming up thick and fast now, and so do Leicester. So this could be one of those games where both teams sort of throw some curveballs and sit players on the bench. But I'd be happy with any result. Any result away from home is ideal. It keeps us sort of there or thereabouts in the top half. I just don't want to go there and sort of a demoralising 2-0 or something like that. Just not the stuffing out of us heading into obviously the busy period that we're in now. So happy with any result, and just looking forward to more football. It's good to have midweek games. I quite enjoy waking up early and watching them. So happy with that.
Yeah, that's true. And the games are going to come thick and fast with, Boxing Day and the Christmas season coming up. So exciting times. And with that, that's our show. Thank you all for joining. You can catch all our socials on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Toffees Victoria. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Ty.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. And come on, you Blues.
Come on, you Blues.